Good morning, students. Today's class is role of culture and people's perception on health. Okay, so what is the role of culture in people when they think of health? You know, India and Asia, for example, have a lot of cultural practices. So let us see what are these cultural practices and how they affect the health of a person. So most of these cultural habits have been passed on from one generation to other generation, and some have positive effects. For example, when you eat on a banana leaf, most of our Tamil culture and Indian people, we eat on a banana leaf and instead of a plate. So what happens when you eat on a banana leaf is it prevents the spread of infection. So that is one advantage that you have when you that is one advantage when you use banana leaf for eating. So people will avoid spreading infection by sharing a plate. Okay, but at the same time there are other harmful cultural practices. For example, most people take people with fractures and other diseases to the village healer. The village healer may treat some diseases, minor diseases, but most of the things he will not be able to treat because he is not a educated person and he knows only few things about diseases. So these are negative cultural influences on people's health. Okay, so when this is prevalent all across the country, so our Indian culture actually sometimes has a negative effect on the health of the people, though there are some cultural habits that have a positive effect. So let us see what are the effects of the culture on our health practices. There are two different things. One is on the cause of the disease and the cure of the disease. So culture plays a major role in identifying what is the cause of the disease, and culture also plays a role in identifying what is cure of the disease. This is purely cultural thing, and medical field is not involved in this. It's what the people think about the cause of disease and cure of disease. So based on the cause of disease, there are two things that people think. One is the supernatural cause and the other is the physical cause of disease. So let us see what are the supernatural cause of disease that people think. Supernatural means it is not natural, it is beyond our human knowledge. Okay, so most people think diseases are because of the anger of gods and goddesses. Wrath means anger. So what they think is some of the diseases are caused by anger of gods. For example, smallpox and chickenpox. It is called Bari Mata Choti Mata in Hindi. Okay, Bari Mata means big mother. Choti Mata means small mother. Periya Ammai, Chinna Ammai. Okay, so this is what the people think. This is prevalent all over the country. So people think that smallpox and chickenpox are caused by the anger of gods. So based on that, they base the treatment also. Okay, they do not think that these are diseases that are caused by virus. Coronavirus is caused by a virus. So similarly, this smallpox, chickenpox also is caused by virus, but people think it is the anger of gods. So they think because it is God who has given this disease, they do not give the medicine. They think God will cure the disease. So sometimes people die also because of this not giving medicines, and most people do puja so that the gods are happy and the disease will go off. So that is one of the cultural thoughts about cause of smallpox, chickenpox. The other thing is taboo. What is taboo is something which the society thinks is bad, should not be done. For example, the society thinks that all sexually transmitted diseases are due to having sexual relationship with a woman of lower caste. If a male has sexual relationship with a woman of the lower caste, they think that the male will suffer from sexually transmitted disease. Or if a woman who is menstruating is having a sexual relationship with a male, the people think that it is also a cause of sexually transmitted disease or venereal disease, but it is not true. They are due to some pathogens means some harmful organism like bacteria. Okay, and there are other things that people think is cause of disease, supernatural cause. One is the for disease like leprosy and tuberculosis, people think it is because of sins that a person committed in the previous generation. People think if you do sin in this generation, next generation you will suffer from diseases like leprosy. Okay, so the other thing is evil eye. This is something that we even know here. If something bad happens in the family, people tell that because other people have cast an evil eye on the family. Or if an individual is doing very well in life, he is rich, he is powerful, then something major illness occurs in the family, they tell because other people put an evil eye, cast an evil eye on the person. So to overcome this, what do? They tie ropes on the hand, they do puja, and then try to get away with this evil eye. But actually it may be because the disease may be because of a biological cause, or it could be a structural abnormality or a functional abnormality in the human body, but people think it is because of supernatural cause. There are other things that people think, like when people have hysteria, they think it is some god or ghost which has entered the person. So they do not give psychological treatment or psychiatric treatment for the person. Instead they try to do puja to get the evil spirit out of the person. So we have seen the supernatural causes that people think is the reason for disease. Now we'll see what are the physical causes that people think are the causes of disease. Physical causes are those that are present in this world, are natural. Okay, so effect of weather. In summer, people can suffer from heat stroke because of dehydration. They do not drink enough water and they have heat. So what do people do? They apply ghee or oil on the sole of the feet and keep unripe mangoes under hot ash. They think all this will take away the heat of the person, but actually drinking water and not going out in the hot sun will help overcome this problem. Then water, impure, people think that impure water is associated with diseases. This is true actually. If we drink bad water, then we will suffer from diseases. And people also think that when the blood is not pure, then people can get diseases like skin problems, boils, scabies that we see in many patients. People think that they have impure blood, so they try to do some natural methods of treatment for this impure blood by giving neem leaves and flowers so that it will purify the blood. But actually it is a skin problem with the underlying cause. If that is treated, then the patient will get cured. But people think it's because of impure blood and they try to do natural remedies which may not work most of the times. Okay, and there are other features that are prevalent in our cultures. Let us see what they are. I will first see about environmental sanitation. Environmental sanitation means the cleanliness of our environment, how we keep our surroundings clean. Okay, so you all live in cities, but if you go to the villages, we see that the disposal of human waste, okay, that is not present. Most houses in the villages do not have a toilet, and most of the people go to the fields and defecate. Okay, early morning they go out into the field and use it as a toilet. So what happens is, they think it is correct practice because the cities do not have any toilets, cities do not have any fields, so people build toilets because they live in a small place. But it is a cultural ritual. If you see the villages, people will go in groups, they will sit and talk to each other, brush their teeth and defecate, and then they will come back to their houses. So it is a ritual for them. Every morning it is a part of their culture. So when you tell them that they have to build toilets, they will not accept it. They think that the city people do not know. But what happens when you defecate in the open is, it causes a lot of spread of diseases. And sometimes when it rains, all the waste mixes with the rainwater, it goes underground and it can cause some diseases to occur. Not only the human waste, but there are other waste. For example, the vegetable waste, the house waste which are collected every day, they are just thrown into the road sometimes. So what happens is, this can cause mosquitoes to breed if there is wastewater collection. If there is other things, rats can breed. Rats can cause plague and bubonic plague and other diseases, some serious diseases they can cause. And mosquitoes can cause dengue and malaria. So when the waste is thrown into the streets, or if there is no proper waste disposal method, then they can cause a lot of diseases. So environmental sanitation is very important, but mostly in villages and even in cities, because of lack of understanding, people do not give a lot of importance to environmental sanitation. So it is your role as a medical sociologist to counsel the people, if you come across any person with diseases, to make sure that they also keep the environment clean around their house and inside their house. The next thing is water supply. Water is a very important for every family. Clean water should be available. But in villages especially, there is usually a village well, or there is a tank or a pond. So what people do is, they all go to the village water supply area, that is the tank or well or pond. Then they wash the vessels, they take bath in that area, and they wash sometimes their animals also they wash. What happens is, this is water which is stagnant. It is not a river water which keeps flowing. Stagnant water means whatever unclean things that are washed, it gets back into the same water, and then that water is sometimes used for drinking. So what happens, it's like a cycle where the body is cleaned by this water, and the wastewater goes back into the same thing, and again it is used. When it's reused again and again, it causes a lot of diseases. So this should be avoided. The next thing is housing. In villages, most of the houses are not pakka houses. They are houses that are made of thatched roof or things like that, and there is less ventilation. These days in big houses, ventilation, when architects build, they do ventilation, but poorly planned houses, there is no ventilation. So there is also lack of sanitation inside the house, because they are small houses. There is no separate kitchen, there is no separate bedroom. So it is either one large room where people cook in one corner and others sleep on the other side, and other people sit and study in another corner of the house. So what happens is, all the pollution, if there is a fire going on, all the smoke, everything is inhaled by the people. That can lead to diseases. So there is no latrine, no bathroom, and drainage is not proper. So villages, mostly they live in, especially poor people, they live in poor houses. That can lead to diseases. And animal keeping, most people keep animals inside the house, sometimes either in the back part of the house or front of the house, or sometimes if they don't have enough place, even inside the house they keep. So this can lead to a lot of diseases, because animals can have a lot of bacteria, virus in them. Even coronavirus is caused by some animals. So this kind of practice will spread the infection from the animal to the human being. Then a lot of things can be said about the food habits of people. Food is something which is very important. We all have to have food, but there is a lot of cultural influence on the food, what we eat and how we eat. Everything is related to the culture. For example, the high caste Hindus are vegetarians, whereas low caste Hindus, they eat non-vegetarian, and the mix of people are there. There are other people who eat both vegetarian and non-vegetarian. So vegetarian people think that non-vegetarians are bad because they kill animals, whereas non-vegetarians think vegetarians will not have strength because they do not have meat in their food. So this is a cultural habit. Some Hindus do not eat onion and garlic, whereas Muslims do not eat pork. So there are religious influences and cultural influences on the food habit of people in this country. Same way, there is a concept of heat and cold caused by the food. So if you eat something, some kind of food, you would have noticed that people in your family say this is a food that can cause heat in your body, so you should eat something cold. Or if you eat some other foods, people say it can cause cold in your body, so drink hot water or hot coffee. So this kind of relating food to heat and cold being produced in the body makes people think that the some diseases are caused because of the food that is eaten, but actually all the diseases are having an underlying cause. It is either a functional problem in the human body or a structural problem, or it is caused by an external pathogen, bacteria or virus. But because it is a cultural practice, people think that heat or cool food causes the disease. For example, if you drink curd, people think it will cool down the body. If you eat ginger, people think it will heat up the body. So this is the, and if you eat chicken, people say it will heat up the body. So this is the kind of cultural relation that people give to food. And the other habits of food related to religious practices is during Ramzan and Hindu festivals like Diwali, Pongal, and cultural festivals like Onam and Pongal. What people do is some of them have alcoholic drinks and other people have meals together. So each of them have their way of eating their food. Muslims, for example, they share food in a common vessel. Everybody eats from the same vessel. And there are some people who use ganja and other drug like things for the festivals, and slowly it has spread to the general population also. So these kind of cultural practices and religious practices are present. One more important thing about the food habits in India is women, especially in the Hindu community, they allow the males to eat first, and then what is left over, and they eat from the same plate of the male. So men eat first and women eat last. So sometimes because of this, if the food is not available, women do not get enough nutrition. Also, the male child in the family is given priority over the female child, and the male child is served the best food. And so this causes some diseases like anemia in women. So this is the relationship of food to cultural practices in India, and diseases caused because of these cultural practices. Same way, people take food only after having a bath. So this is a good practice because it cleans the body. So it is a positive effect on the having culture on the lack of diseases. So it prevents diseases because you are clean when you eat the food. Like this, food habits differs from one region to another region in the country and all over the world. Then we come to the practices of mother and child health and how culture influences it. Okay, so there are a lot of customs and cultural practices, especially when a male child is born, the woman who gave birth is praised, and if a female child is born, the woman is cursed, especially in areas where people think the male child is very important. Some good practices which are cultural are the culture says women should breastfeed the child for many years, and the child is given massage and exposure to the sun. So these are good practices that will keep the child healthy. But at the same time, women are not allowed to eat foods like egg, meat and fish. These are good for the woman during pregnancy, but the culture tells that women should avoid eating these foods during pregnancy. This is a bad aspect. Okay, and other thing is, most of the women are delivered at home with the what they call dai or birth attendant. Okay, so this can lead to maternal mortality and even child mortality. So the government is trying to institutionalize delivery, but in villages still the village maid or village dai is the one who is delivering a lot of women. And as soon as the child is born, the colostrum is not given to the child, whereas it is very good for the child, but in villages it is not given. Instead, the child is given sugar and water. This can lead to a lot of problems in the child. It can cause digestive problems, and it can lead to diarrhea and even death in the child. So this is a bad cultural habit that should be changed as early as possible. Then the other customs are the punching of nose and ear and applying of turmeric. So these are things which are cultural habits, but they do not cause any damage to the child. Like previous thing examples, this does not cause any damage to the child. Same way they keep a black dot on the cheek to ward off the evil eye, but again it is not very important because it does not cause any negative effects in the child. Next we come to the personal hygiene and how culture affects personal hygiene and how it relates to the diseases. So there is a lot of thought in the villages that instead of using paste and brush, people can use neem leaves and other leaves to brush the teeth, and they use charcoal also to brush the teeth. So this is sometimes harmful. There are some benefits of neem leaves also, but at the same time, just brushing the teeth, because neem twigs cannot clean the teeth properly, so that is a negative influence. Next, people use turmeric and mustard oil and rub it on the body before a bath. This does not have any major effect on the health of the person, but people think it cools down the body, and so they do it. And other thing is shaving. Shaving is part of the personal hygiene, how you keep yourself clean. Most of the people do not know how to shave, both in villages and cities. So what they do is they go to the barber to shave. When they go to the barber to shave, what happens is he does not have clean instruments, so he does not sterilize the instruments. He keeps using it for different people, so it spreads diseases like HIV and AIDS. And smoking is a cultural habit, especially in northern India. People smoke from a what is called as a hubble. It's a big pot like thing from which smoke comes, and people just pass it around, so each person takes a breath in and the smoke goes in. So this kind of thing, which is a cultural habit where community smoking happens, can lead to a lot of lung cancers and high death rate. And another thing that Hindus and Muslims do is they wear parda, and that is a positive thing because it prevents it is a negative thing because they do not get the sun to fall on their face, so it prevents vitamin D formation in the body, because they are whenever they go out of the house they wear the parda, so they are not exposed to sunlight, which leads to less vitamin D production in the body, so their bones are weak. So the next cultural thing is about the sex and marriage. We have already seen that there are a lot of things related to sexual relationship. We saw that most people who have sexually transmitted diseases are thought that it's because they had relationship with a woman who was menstruating. In Orthodox Jewish community, Jewish people are the ones who live in Israel. They are not allowed to have sexual relationship with a woman for 7 days after the menstruation. So it has an important effect on family planning. In India, marriage is a sacred institution. Marriage is very important, and a lot of importance is given to marriage, and women or a female child is usually married off very early. So they think if it is a late marriage, then there will be a lot of adjustment problems between the woman and the husband, so they give the child early marriage. But the government is told 19 is the minimum age for marriage and 24 is the age for males commonly, but a lot of people get married even before that. Some people get married later than that. But in India, because everybody gets married, unlike Western countries, in US, UK, European countries, there are very few people who get married and live as a family. They all live as individuals. So there what happens is they have relationship with women, and there are single mothers and illegitimate children, so the mother does not know who the father is. Whereas in India, the family is given a lot of importance and marriage is given a lot of importance, so almost everybody gets married. So there are very less problem of unwed mothers or illegitimate children or single mothers like in western countries. The only thing is the caste has an important role to play in when the woman is getting married. So people living in villages and in some castes, they get married very early. So that is one important cultural aspect on marriage. Then in India, because of rampant awareness programs, the child marriage and polygamy have now nearly disappeared, except one or two people. Most of it has disappeared. But there are some habits like polyandry, which is found in the Todas of Nilgiris. They are a tribal group. Then in UP and other areas, there is high rate of sexually transmitted diseases because of their sexual and cultural sexual practices. So these are the things which are related to our cultural practices, which are related to diseases, which you have to understand and know about. Thank you.